Please be seated. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Regina Pisa. I am the chair of Simmons Board of Trustees. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Simmons' 120th commencement ceremony into the MGM Music Hall at Fenway Park. Today we congratulate and honor all who are graduating, as well as your families, friends, and faculty whose work, support, and love made this day possible. It has been an extraordinary journey for all of us, but perhaps most of all for you. Your perseverance, determination, and leadership have been truly remarkable. Few moments in life demand as much strength, focus, and care as you have shown. The way you've led yourselves, supported one another, and upheld the values of Simmons has brought us to this meaningful day. Your strength and commitment have made a lasting impact, and for that we are deeply grateful. As President Wooten has taught us, it is everyday leadership that powers successful people and institutions. I'd like now to recognize the families and friends of our graduates, the parents and siblings, grandparents, spouses, and partners who have sacrificed so much to make today possible, this graduation above all others. Would the graduates please rise and turn to face your parents and families? And lead us in applause for your families and friends. Graduates, I'd like you now to turn back and face this way to applaud the faculty sitting here behind you. As well as the staff gathered throughout the MGM Music Hall to support this day. Join me and my fellow trustees in thanking them for their sacrifices, flexibility, and creativity in making a great Simmons education and the best possible Simmons experience for you. Thank you to faculty, Simmons faculty, administration, and staff. You can now sit. I got a front row seat to all of the hats, what's written on all of the hats, and let me tell you, it was inspirational. I especially like, don't tell me the odds in the front seat. Thank you very much. Today's commencement celebrates both tradition and transformation. The caps, gowns, and hoods we wear date back to the Middle Ages, once used for warmth, now symbols of academic achievement and institutional pride. Latin, once the language of learning, remains part of our ceremony. Graduates receive honors such as cum laude with honors, are recognized in your program for their outstanding work. Student speeches, a nod to the centuries-old tradition of academic oratory, remind us that this moment is about both reflection and looking forward. As we honor these traditions, we also celebrate the unique journey of each graduate, with pride in the past and excitement for what lies ahead. We, the trustees of Simmons University, are proud of your accomplishments. We are confident you will carry the name of Simmons into your professions and communities with distinction, dignity, and pride. Congratulations. Now, please welcome Lynn Perry Wooten, the 9th president of Simmons University.
Thank you, Regina. What a joyful and unforgettable moment this is. First, I want to thank our commencement planning team and all of our staff and faculty who make this day possible. This academic year, Simmons is proud to award more than 500 baccalaureate degrees and nearly 1,500 graduate degrees. At this ceremony, I have the privilege of conferring degrees on behalf of the trustees and our dedicated faculty. To our graduates, your families, and everyone who supported you on this journey, today is your day. It's your time to celebrate. And I am so honored to be your president and share this moment with you. Our graduating students have shown remarkable resilience throughout their academic journeys. Many of you began college during a global pandemic, faced disruption to learnings, and navigated a period of profound social change. Through it all, you've been adaptable, persistent, and committed to furthering your education. And today, you are a triumph. At Simmons, you have elevated your voices and formed lifelong friendships and connections. Simmons has also challenged you to think critically, to take academic risks, and to pursue your passions and interests. I have witnessed your commitment to scholarship and service, and your drive to make a difference for yourself, our communities, and our world. As you've heard me say many times, Simmons was founded for equality with the historic vision of using education to advocate social and economic equity. For more than 125 years, this institution has created space for students to learn, to grow, and to thrive. Each of you plays a role in carrying this important vision forward. You also graduated at a time when thoughtful and courageous everyday leaders are needed more than ever. I am reminded of the words of the late award-winning science fiction author, Octavia E. Butler, who discusses the potential for impact that lies within each of us, particularly during eras of uncertainty. Octavia E. Butler reminds us, all that you touch, you change. All that changes, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. You are the next generation of everyday leaders, my everyday leaders, Simmons' everyday leaders. And I am confident that your determination and courage to pursue a path of purpose and meaning, combined with your Simmons degree, the pursuit of excellence, and will serve you well as you continue your studies or begin your career. And I'm looking forward to all that you will do, accomplish, and change. So let's give the graduates another round of applause. On this day of celebration, we are also mindful of the members of the Simmons communities we have lost. Please join me in a moment of silence as we remember these important individuals who continue to live in our hearts and whose legacies continue to shape us. Thank you. To our graduates, I hope you will always carry the magic of Simmons with you. Today, please, once again, I want to remind you to celebrate reaching this tremendous milestone. Soak up every moment, and tomorrow, step confidentially into what comes next. Congratulations. And now I'd like to invite our esteemed faculty member and Master of Social Work Program Director, Dr. Gary Bailey, to deliver today's invocation.
Today we give thanks and offer our prayers. Spirit of life, Creator, source of boundless compassion, we thank you for this day, for the wisdom to recognize our gifts, and for the blessings that await. Let us take a moment to center ourselves in this special time of celebration and remembrance. Let us honor the memories of those no longer physically present, whose legacies live on within us, ancestors upon whose shoulders we stand. On this important day, we call upon the wisdom of the ages and the spirit of enlightenment to guide us. We know that life is not a path traveled alone, but one that is enriched through communion with others. As we gather at this threshold between what has been and what lies ahead, let us pause to honor the journey we've walked and the world we dream of building together. I wish for all of you a world envisioned by the poet Rabindranath Tagore, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, we hope that you awake. Let these soon-to-be Simmons graduates become the bridge between the world as it is and the world as it can and should be. May you move forward with bold vision, fierce love, and unwavering hope. May you be the ones who help bring the and then into the now. 125 years ago, Simmons was founded for equality and built for the challenges of today. Our hope is that you create the world anew as imagined by artist and poet Judy Chicago, who in her 1979 poem, The Merger, said, "And then all that has divided us will merge, and then compassion will be wedded to power, and then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind. And then both men and women will be gentle, and then both men and women will be strong, and then no person will be subject to another's will, and then we all will be rich and free and varied, and then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many, and then all will share equally in the earth's abundance, and then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old, and then all will nourish the young, and then all will cherish life's creatures, and then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth, and everywhere will be called Eden once again." Remember this when challenged by the uncertainty of the world around us. Blessed are you who remain in spirit, who remain open in spirit, who embrace humility and curiosity, for you will continue to grow, to learn, and to lead lives of depth and meaning. Blessed are you who have known sorrow and still choose to love, for your compassion holds the power to heal what is broken. Blessed are the gentle, for you teach us that strength need not shout to be heard. Blessed are you who hunger and thirst for justice, for you remind us that fairness is not a luxury, but a necessity. Blessed are you who are merciful, for you offer grace in a world that too often demands perfection. Blessed are you who will be the peacemakers, for you are the architects of unity in times of division. And blessed are you who have and will continue to stand firm in the face of adversity, who risk comfort for conscience, for you light the way forward. All these things and more we wish for you. Ashe, Amen, and Simmons women.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bailey. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rayanne Butera, and I serve as the Vice President of Student Engagement and Dean of Students. Thank you. Each year, members of the graduating class respond to a call for submissions to be the student commencement speaker. A committee of faculty and staff selects the student speakers. I was not surprised to learn that our students are passionate and articulate about their Simmons experience and their futures. Of those submissions, the committee selected Jenna Saul to deliver this morning's graduate student address. Jenna, would you please come join me at the podium? It is my great honor to introduce Jenna Saul, candidate for Master of Science in Library and Information Science with a concentration in Archives Management. Jenna is an award-winning professional, a passionate preservationist, and a proud mom of 2 daughters, Charlie and Penny. Shout out Charlie and Penny, if you're out there. While pursuing her MLIS degree full-time, she has worked across 4 library and archival institutions, including Harvard and the Watertown Free Public Library, and served as president of the Special Libraries Association's student chapter. Her work has brought rare manuscripts to life, from reconstructing the 15th century Book of Hours to handling treasures at the Boston Public Library and Harvard. She's also the founder of the Think, Build, Dream Project, a nonprofit supporting first-generation college students. Jenna embodies the spirit of Simmons, intellectually curious, community-driven, and relentlessly committed to service and storytelling. Please join me in welcoming your graduate student speaker, Jenna Saul.
Wow, what a nice introduction that was. Good morning, everyone. For 10 years, I dreamed of coming to Simmons. 10. And as soon as I arrived, I knew exactly how the next few years of my life was going to go. And as my mother likes to say, we make plans and God laughs. And if you watch the news, you know that the last couple of years are certainly proof of that. But whether you're a planner like me, or more of a free spirit, we've all been hit by change we didn't see coming. Things have felt confusing, uncertain, downright fearful. We've witnessed setbacks that feel so antiquated and disconnected from the innovation and ingenuity happening across our country. Yet despite the chaos, one thing has remained constant: this incredible community. To the brilliant faculty of the School of Library and Information Science, to the mentors who've guided me, to my classmates who've challenged me, the alumni I've met in the wild, thank you. You've shown me what it means to be part of a curious, passionate, and deeply intelligent group of people who care about truth, equity, and access. Which brings me to something we cannot ignore. Now, more than ever, free speech, libraries, and access to information are lifelines, not luxuries. If not for the institutions of information and the librarians, archivists, technologists, these information professionals that organize, curate, and provide access to information, without them, none of us would be crossing this stage today. So how do we move forward? Well, as my mother-in-law likes to say, never be afraid to do the work no one else wants to do. So let's get to work. Let's work on confronting hate, discrimination, and misinformation head on. Let's change the narrative, let's change the audience, and let's change our approach. Because we may not be able to change the entire world overnight, but we can change our communities, our workplaces, our families, and most importantly, ourselves. Because while things aren't quite as planned, the good news is that we just spent years learning, growing, pushing ourselves and each other to be the next leaders, to lead our society forward. So, yeah, it's looking a little sketchy out there, but we can't let that cloud our accomplishments and our path forward. So join me as we walk together into this next chapter as exemplary examples of leadership, bravery, and resilience. Because friends, they need us out there. And you know what? We're ready, and we got this. Congratulations, graduates. We did it.
Thank you so much, Jenna. So next, the committee selected Helena Saldiva Mieres to deliver the undergraduate student address. Helena, please come join me at the podium. It is a true pleasure to introduce today's undergraduate student commencement speaker, especially because, class of 2025, you and I started this journey together for almost 4 years ago. Helena Saldivar Mieres, a political science major and proud member of the honors program, born in Texas and raised in Asunción, Paraguay. Helena brings global perspective to everything she does. On campus, she's served as president of the Political Science and International Relations Liaison, a DEI leader for the Simmons Dance Company, and a powerful advocate for civic engagement, earning national recognition for the All-In Campus Democracy Challenge. From the Massachusetts State House to the Simmons stage as a 5-time choreographer, Helena's leadership has made a lasting mark. She's inspired others as a summer camp director, legislative intern, and community organizer. As she looks ahead to a career in policy research and advocacy, and maybe a horror novel or two, I hear, Helena is committed to building practical, people-centered solutions that uplift marginalized voices. Please join me in welcoming your undergraduate student speaker, Helena Saldivar Mieres.
Hello, class of 2025. What a day. Thank you for making it this far so that one day we may hopefully work together to make the world a better place. I know that seems far away sometimes, but I feel so much hope seeing so many familiar faces in the crowd. Looking back at me, I see future doctors, librarians, nurses, more nurses, few more nurses, and whatever it is we political science students are doing nowadays. If anyone has the answer to that, please find me after this. I also want to thank the friends and family who have supported us the entire way here. Specifically, I'd like to thank my father, my superhero, who gave up so much to raise me in the US during my early childhood, and my mother, my best friend and a role model. When things got too tough, I would think to myself, my mom did a master's degree in a second language with a baby on her hip, real cute one. And if she won the game in mom mode, I could win the game in Simmons mode. And here I am, thanks to the countless sacrifices both of them made. Gracias, mamá y papá. Yeah! So, you've made it this far. You sacrificed sleep, you spent hours in the library studying. If you're like me, you cried a lot while it was happening. Maybe you partied a little too. But what comes next? Do we make it through? I don't know. Amidst all the uncertainty our generation faces, I so desperately wish I did. I would get a lot more sleep if that were the case, but I don't, unfortunately. Today, I'm not going to stand here and tell you about how Oprah didn't get her big break until her 40s, or how Stan Lee didn't publish his first comic book until he was 39. I'll skip Samuel L. Jackson and Vera Wang and Sylvester Stallone because we've all Googled those stories in the middle of the night when we were sleep-deprived and spiraling. Or at least I hope that's what we've all done, because otherwise I've just made a very embarrassing confession. Anyway, instead of focusing on the end goal and the pursuit of a career, I want to encourage you to step into the unknown, do what feels right, and embrace your journey as it comes to you, and fall in love with the in-between. Our beloved fellow alum, Gwen Eiffel, spent many a sleepless night putting in the work, likely in a lounge you've walked by or a room you may have even slept in. When she graduated, she probably also felt the mix of emotions you and I feel now: excitement, relief, apprehension. But she worked her way up the ladder. She knew her worth, and she demanded the respect she knew she deserved. Her hard work paid off, and she became a symbol to young journalists nationwide and an even bigger symbol to her Simmons community. Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman elected to Congress and the first to run for president, knew she would have to fight an uphill battle to become the Democratic nominee. She didn't succeed. And yet, her legacy lives on. We remember her not for her failure, but for her attempt, her bravery, and her determination. And how many of our family members came to the US with a little bit of money in their pocket and a dream of a better life? How many spent years working, often undercompensated and undervalued, giving their all just to help us cross the finish line and build their dream life? They didn't know what would happen next. but they continue to exist, to dream, to resist. These people didn't turn away. I ask that you not turn away, and that you fight through the burnout, the rejection, and the uncertainty. I hope that when you wobble, you fight to steady yourself, and when, not if, you fall, you get up. I hope you fight tooth and nail for what you know is right, especially in this day and age. Be it for yourself, your loved ones, a total stranger, an immigrant. I hope you look into the abyss and smile. It might not smile back. And you're gonna think, this is it, game over. But I hope you trudge through and you come out victorious. Congratulations, class of 2025. We will make it through.
Thank you, Jen and Helena, for those powerful words, which give us much hope and inspiration. Like you, I am honored to be standing among a group of people who are dedicated to making the world a better place for each and every one of us. Your speeches embody so much of the spirit of Simmons and offer a powerful reminder of all that our graduating students have overcome. We will now proceed with the conferring of the honorary degree. Simmons is proud this morning to honor one of our very own, a pioneering political leader who fearlessly championed women's rights, reproductive justice, and equity in healthcare and housing access throughout her groundbreaking career in the Massachusetts State Legislature. She will be presented by Stephanie Cosner, Provost of Simmons University. In this afternoon's commencement exercise, we will also grant an honorary degree to dedicated healthcare leader whose transformational tenure as the first female chief executive officer of Boston Children's Hospital strengthened pediatrics medicines, research, and community health, Sandra L. Fenwick. Your online programs have additional information about this honoree.
President Wooten, I present to you for the degree Doctor of Public Service, honoris causa, Senator Harriet L. Chandler.
Senator Harriet Chandler, you stand as a towering figure in Massachusetts politics and a champion for women's rights, reproductive justice, health care, and housing. Following your education at Wellesley and earning your PhD from Clark University, you became a proud alumna of Simmons University, earning your MBA in 1983 and bringing the analytical skills and strategic thinking developed here to your subsequent career in public service. This remarkable journey of service began in 1991 when you were first elected to the Worcester School Committee. Driven by your deep passion for education, this commitment soon propelled you to the Massachusetts House of Representatives, where you served with distinction for 3 terms before your historic ascension to the state Senate. You made history as the first woman elected from Worcester to serve in the Massachusetts State Senate, and later ascending to become one of the second women to serve as Senate President, breaking barriers and opening doors for future generations of leaders. Throughout your distinguished legislative career, you have demonstrated an unwavering dedication to improving lives of our Commonwealth's residents, particularly for our women and families. Your legislative accomplishments speak volumes about your values and your priorities. Your first major bill ensuring women could stay in the hospital for 24 hours after giving birth demonstrated your commitment to maternal health and dignity. In 2020, you assured your legacy as the lead sponsor of the landmark ROE Act, which expanded access to reproductive health care and enshrined protections for these essential rights into Massachusetts law. Beyond your formal legislative role, Your commitment to community service has never wavered, evidenced by your service to the YWCA, the Greater Worcester Foundation, the Worcester Art Museum, and the United Way of Central Massachusetts. Your commitment to addressing homelessness and fostering affordable housing in Worcester demonstrates that your passion for creating positive change remains strong as ever, as does your ongoing television program, The Chandler Chat, where you bring important civic issues to public attention. Senator Harriet Chandler, in recognition of this extensive record of dedication to public service and your landmark achievements in advancing women's rights, Simmons University is proud to grant you the Doctorate of Public Service degree, honoris causa. I am now pleased to introduce Dr. Harriet L. Chandler to deliver the commencement address.
Dr. Wooten, thank you for that very warm introduction. And thank you, trustees, faculty, families, friends, members of my own class of 1983 at the GSM. Some of you are here today. And most importantly, thank you and congratulations to the graduating class of 2025. What an honor it is to stand before you today. Let me begin by acknowledging what a remarkable journey you've completed to get to this moment. Of course, every graduation speech starts like that, but in your case, you've navigated the challenges of 3 generations in your own lifetime: a global pandemic that disrupted your education, political divisions that test our social fabric, and personal trials that could have derailed your ambitions. Yet here you stand today, at the end of one journey and on the edge of another. That alone deserves our deepest respect and admiration. Simmons has always held a special place in my heart, from my time on campus through my time in the State Senate, and of course, up to the present day. And that's because Simmons has always been a place that stands up for raising up those on the edges and the margins, for giving opportunity to everyone, including those from non-traditional or unexpected paths, and preparing everyone, regardless of background, for what comes next. This institution was founded with a revolutionary wisdom that women should be able to earn independent livelihoods and lead meaningful lives. That vision continues to guide Simmons today as it prepares all of you to become leaders in a world that so desperately needs your talents and your voices. Simmons was that for me, and I hope it will be for you too. Indeed, it changed my life, and it gave me the confidence and the knowledge to seek out new options for myself. It was, in truth, a magical place for me. Today, I want to speak to you about what that means, about responsibility, not to dampen your celebration, but to ignite your purpose. You've likely heard people say, well, that's terrible. Someone should do something about it, when confronted with injustice, suffering, or environmental degradation. It's a comforting phrase, isn't it, that allows us to acknowledge problems while distancing ourselves from the responsibility of solving them. Leave them to someone else to solve. But I'm here to tell you something very important. There is no one else. No one is coming. It's you, and you, and you. That might sound alarming at first, even a bit dark for a commencement speech. But I want you to pause and flip the framework and hear the profound opportunities in these words. It's you. There is no one else. Never forget that. You know, throughout my life, I've been repeatedly told that I didn't belong, that I was too young, that I was too old, too female, not a white male from a patrician background. When I got my undergrad degree, women were expected to stay home, take care of the children, and certainly didn't aspire to further degrees. And I'm saying this specifically to the undergraduates because I represent a generation that thought that way. I was told that women really didn't work. Indeed, it was hard to get a job unless one taught or was a secretary or a nurse like my mom. So I began to teach in a local public high school, one of the first married women in Worcester to do so. Married women were not supposed to be in the high schools at that time. Ultimately, I learned that I had to get a master's degree to get tenure. So I went back to school and thought it would be nice to teach at the college level. So with the help of fellowships, I earned a PhD and then came to Simmons to get my MBA. I worked for a variety of businesses, all while raising a family. All my children are here this morning, and I'm so happy to have them with me. So let me just tell you, women, you can have both. You can have both. In my 50s, I ran for office for the first time. In Worcester, I saw problems in the community that needed fixing. I was told I was too old and inexperienced, but I worked hard and I won a seat on the school committee. I proceeded to run for higher office, eventually reaching the state senate, and I ultimately became the president of the state senate at the young age of 79. So don't lose hope. Why did I do all of this? Wouldn't it have been easier to keep teaching or to work toward retirement in my 50s rather than start another 30-year career? You all know when you're told no, it's so easy to think of the barriers. Do I have enough money to do the next thing? Do I have the right set of talents? Do I have the right degrees? Do I have the right status, the right name, the right look? I heard those no's out loud and in my head, but there was something more powerful driving me. At each stage, you see, I pursued the next stage because there was a major issue I wanted to fix that no one else seemed to care about, and you're going to find this throughout your life. In other words, I knew there was going to be no one to solve the problem, but perhaps I could at least raise the question. It was me. There was no one else coming, and I came to realize that. You see, I grew up in a tradition guided by the ancient Hebrew principle of tikkun olam, the belief that we have a responsibility to repair the world, to leave it better than we found it. This concept teaches us that the world is inherently imperfect, with brokenness built into its very design, not as a punishment, but as an invitation to humanity to partner in its completion. But partnership isn't something we wait for. It requires active participation, active seeking. The cracks in our society, and there are many, inequities in healthcare, education, and justice, climate change, social divisions, these aren't just problems to lament. They are invitations for each of you to apply your unique gifts, your fresh perspectives, and your Simmons education. No one is coming. It's you. It's your turn, and we've waited for you. You are our future leadership in our professions, in our families, in our country, and we look forward to that. When I began my service in public service, my journey in public service decades ago, standing in Worcester City Hall, casting my first vote, I couldn't have imagined the path ahead. Becoming the first woman from Worcester elected to the Massachusetts State Senate, serving as Senate President, working on healthcare reform, civic education, on the first bill to allow people to get a restraining order against someone who is not a family member, on a landmark bill preserving women's rights in the face of attacks on their reproductive freedom. This is the famous Roe bill. Or the ability to stay in the hospital for 24 hours after the birth of a baby rather than midnight. Or legalizing health tattoos as a health concern. Or, and even most important, the right of a person to marry whomever they love. But at every moment, at every juncture, I've learned that change happens not through grand gestures by mythical heroes, but through persistent, principled action by ordinary people who refuse to look away from problems that others ignore. There's always time for your next act, and there always is a next act. Some of you may know exactly how you want to contribute to repairing our world. Others may still be searching. But know this, the education you've received at Simmons has prepared you not just for a career, but for citizenship in its fullest sense, engagement with the complex challenges of our time. When you encounter those moments where someone says, someone should do something, I hope you'll remember this day and think, that someone is me. That someone is us. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs committed people. It needs people who understand that we aren't merely passive inhabitants of history, but active creators of the future. So as you leave this ceremony today, I challenge you to carry with you not just your degree, not just your diploma, but a commitment to tikkun olam, to repair the world in whatever way aligns with your talents and your passions. The philosopher Hannah Arendt wrote about the banality of evil, how great harm often comes not just from monstrous people, but from ordinary people, people who fail to think critically or take responsibility. But the reverse is also true. Ordinary, extraordinary good can come from ordinary people who choose to think critically and take responsibility. That's what you learned here, among the many things you learned. That was really part of it. You are those people. You are the ones we've been waiting for. As you depart Simmons and disperse into countless communities and professions, remember that you carry not just knowledge, but the ability to imagine and create a more just world. The challenges ahead are significant, but so is your capacity to meet them. When future generations look back on this time, they will ask, who stood up? Who took responsibility? Who committed themselves to repairing what was broken? Let the answer be, I did. We did, together. Congratulations, class of 2025. The work of repairing the world awaits, and I cannot think of a better group prepared to take it on. Thank you and very best wishes.
Thank you, Dr. Chandler. We will now begin the conferral degrees. The faculty and Board of Trustees of Simmons University have voted to grant these degrees and are authorized to do so by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. When your degree is announced by the dean, please stand and remain standing until we have conferred your degree. Following the conferral of degrees, graduates will come forward to the stage and the dean will hand you a diploma cover. When you leave the stage, please return to your seat, and you will be directed back to your row by our commencement staff.
Good morning. My name is Amina Kothari. I am the Dean of Gwen Ifill School of Media, Humanities, and Social Sciences. Ifill graduates, you have learned to ask the hard questions and imagine better answers. May your work always build bridges and spark change. Congratulations, class of 2025. Will the candidates for the Master of Arts, Master of Fine Arts, Master in Public Policy, and Master of Science please stand? President Wooten, on the behalf of the deans and the faculty of Simmons University, I have the honor to present to you these candidates for the degree of Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Children, Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Children, and Master of Fine Arts in Children's Literature, and Master of Arts in Children's Literature, Master of Science in Education, Master of Arts in Gender and Cultural Studies, Master of Arts in History, and Master in Public Policy. They have completed all the conditions of scholarship and residency required by our faculty.
Candidates, I hereby grant you these master degrees. I declare you are entitled to all of the rights, the privileges, and dignities pertaining to those degrees. Please move your tassels from the right side of your cap to the left. Will the candidates for the master's degrees please come forward to the stage?
Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Children, Corey Ann Campbell. Evienia Manticas. Lee Samuels. Sarah Leah Young. Julie Danielle Bowden. Allison Wendy Adams Price. Elifgul Bukoral. Loretta Joy Lambert. Juan Lee. Hannah B. Maines. Abdelrahman Ahmed. Jessica Beaudry. Janelle Michaela Naguna Calagian. Sarah E. Sorella. Emily Marion Desjardins. Benjamin G. Egby. Jalen Enright. Sumaya Fadil. Amanda Mary Foley. Aldwin Anthony Larora Galizia. Christy Ann Gonzalez. Jose Marie Bernardo Guevara. Sean Heminger. Aliana Mari Chua Hilario. Cecilia Majata. Summer Joan McGowan. Michaela M. McMillan. Colleen Margaret Mills. Sidoline Ajunese Nkembo. Alice Rebecca Pauley. Suzanne Poole. Mary Shem Dechavez Quillantang. Christina Rayball. Allison Teresa Rosinas. Morgan Nicole Sundman. Olivia Ann Tomiel. Catherine Williams. Natasha Richard Zachariah.
Riley Bales.
Jessica Moore Kaplan. Marie Coyle. Shelby Clem. Megan Marie Ondeck. Anne Marie Ricker. Rayanne Risco. Masumi Kagaya Sasaki. Samantha Brown. Joshua Diaz Boned. Master of Arts in History, Eric Pompeo. Master in Public Policy, April Beatty.
Good morning. My name is Sanda Erdeles, and I'm the Dean of the School of Library and Information Science. It is my honor to recognize SLIS graduates entering a profession that safeguards access to information and cultural heritage. This year, our archives program is again ranked #1 in the nation, and our master's program is proudly among the top 10. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Science, and Advanced certificates please rise? President Wooten, on behalf of the Deans and faculty of Simmons University, I have the honor to present to you these candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Science, and Master of Arts in Children's Literature, Master of Science and Master of Arts in History, Advanced Certificate in Archives Management, and in the Certificate in School of Library Teacher Program. They have completed all the conditions of the scholarship and residence required by our faculty.
Candidates, I hereby grant you the Doctorate of Philosophy, Master's degrees, advanced certificates, and certificates. And I declare that you are entitled to all the rights, the privileges, and dignities pertaining to those degrees and certificates. Please move your tassel from the right side of your cap to the left. And will the candidates please come forward to the stage?
Doctor of Philosophy, Library and Information Science, Salen Boyd. Cynthia Marie Landrum. Sean Daniel Noel. Master of Science, Library and Information Science, Daniel Carter Abram. Nina Aguiar Schempliner. Jennifer Amariti. Angela Barden. Ariel Madison Bellew. Connor Alexander Brown. Alexia Hudson Ward. Cleban Mariah Kalari. Catherine Carlson. Catherine Cassio. Kelly Champine. Sarah Jeanette Charpentier. Chan-hee Cho. Casey S. Kloberg. Peyton Marie Cleary. Margaret Catherine Coburn. Alexandra Redfield Cohen. Kevin Patrick Coughlin. Rosalie Leilani Coyle. Victoria Lynn Crossman. Zachary De Dionisio. Ashley Elizabeth Dion. Melissa Andrews Dyer. Juliana Spinola Eastman. Maggie Casey Irwin. Isabel Rosen Essman. Erin Michelle Fagan. Cooper Philibert. Samantha Charlie Friedman. Melissa Leah Fuller. Lauren Christina Garcia. Shannon L. Giblin. Devin Julia Gonzalez. Alexa Gabriela Gonzalez. Claire Chandler Gordy. Emily Greco. Rachel Ann Grow. Malia Grace Geyer Stevens. Catherine Elise Hancock. IJ Hart Hennessy. Olivia Ann Henninger. Lauren Kate Hildum. Kayla E. Holock. Darshay J. Hawley. Kara Sambuco Hellings. Sage Loyama Inerarity. Jessica M. Yahovich. Jax Johnson. Zoe Faye Johnson. Caitlin Marie Kearns. Gabrielle Keene. Erin Michelle Kelly. Eugen Kim. Jennifer Lynn Knight. Erica Caroline Knox. Lindsay Marie Colhays. Daniel Cranack. Brianna Lamb. Jennifer Leahy. Sean Podrig Lederer. Alexander Locher. Caroline Sarah McDonald. Melissa M. Maldonado. Galen March. Julia Mazer. Blake Ruth Ann McGee. Caitlin Marie McKeand. Chelsea McNeil. Kathleen Elaine Messier. Harrison David Kelly Miller. Abigail Mulligan. Wilder Moss. Kendall M. Morales. Azra Bayramovich Nelson. Courtney Nix. Adara Monroe North. Megan Elizabeth O'Connell. Young So O. Heidi Samantha Orozco Estrada. Danielle Sarai Alexandre. Claire Victoria Pask. Elizabeth Mary Picken. Lindsay Ann Restelli. Kelsey Lee Rhodes. Megan Rahal. Kira Eileen Robbins. Isabella Marie Rodriguez. Shannon Renee Ross. Deborah Ann Saltz. Ali Shambaugh Miller. Caitlin Shannon. Marianne Shaughnessy. Abigail Elizabeth Shoyat. Allison Lee Shoup. Megan Beth DeWolf Sisson. Sarah Slocum. Sarah S. Smee. Clarabelle Smith. Leanna Sowa. Noelle Stockwell. Hannah Sweeney. Luis E. Tamayo. Jennifer Olivia Neal Saul. Jasmine Vandermark. Chloe Elizabeth Walsh. Robert White. Amelia G. Woolrob. Linda Helen Woodland. Lucy. Alexander Jackson Young. Master of Science in Library and Information Science and Master of Arts in Children's Literature. Abby Ryan Arsenault. Anna Sophia Bainton. Glory B. E. Chase. Emily Caroline Douglas. Magenta Yasinski. Neda Kamal Hidayat. Amanda Landry. Paige Mackenzie Asa St. Lawrence. Alyssa Wyant. Carolyn Zuttermeister. Master of Science and Master of Arts in History, Archives Management. Rachel Lynn Anderson. Sierra J. Cannon. Claire Christine Chandler. Eamon R. Gosselin. Erie Ann Harris. Emma Grace Hayden. Callista Joanne Hill. Grace Hoggett. Peyton Jean Houghton Papas. Catherine Joy Caracas. Cleo Lang. Michaela Joy Martin. Rebecca Morawski. Alexanders Rennertz. Dylan Schubert. Abigail M. Smith. Morgan A. Wilson. Morgan Wilson. Kylie Renee Winkler. Certificate in School Library Teacher Program. Naomi Leeper. Julia Vidal. Madeline Vilverth.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Astrid Scheel, and I am the Dean of the School of Management. This is my favorite day of the year because it is both the culmination of your hard work and determination and the beginning of a great new chapter. I congratulate and salute all of our students and their families on this incredible accomplishment. We are also proud to recognize the members of Academy, Simmons University's Undergraduate Honor Society. Academy was founded in 1918 and became the Simmons Honor Society in 1943. Since 1977, members of the senior class whose cumulative grade point average is in the top 10% have been eligible for induction into the Academy. For each Academy member, you will see it noted on screen when they cross the stage. Congratulations to these students on their academic achievement. President Wooten, on behalf of the deans and faculty of Simmons University, I have the honor to present to you these candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and Bachelor of Social Work. They have completed all the conditions of scholarship and residence required by our faculty. Will all of the candidates for the baccalaureate degree please rise?
I hereby grant you the baccalaureate degree and declare that you are entitled to all the rights, the privileges, and dignities pertaining to the baccalaureate degree. Please remove your tassels from the right side of your cap to the left. Move, yes. The candidates for these degrees are led by members of the Executive Board for the Student Government Association and the 2025 Class Council. Will the baccalaureate degree candidates please come forward to the stage?
Student Government Association and Class Council. Michaela Stanislas. Zina Ashwin Acharya. Julia Abigail Peace. Isabella Dolina Santos. Eileen Rue Kim. Maham Taj. Madeline N. Sim. Bachelor of Arts, Elizabeth Ann Adesso. Sarah Jane Albrecht. Rhea Anderson. Ashley Arnold. Mariapia Rosa Aska. Kayla E. Bayarjan. Anastasia Barbashova. Melanie Elizabeth Battle. Shosna Bernardo. Cassidy Bayer. Martina Teresa Lynn Bilante. Lillian Brenneman. Molly Brodeur. Ashlyn Grace Cardinal. Francesca Caron. Caro Casado. Khadija Shafiq. Sophie Morgan Chin. Megan Cheng. Lorenza Mary Kokia. Peaches Collins. Alondra Nicole Colon Colon. Sophie Kathleen Curley. Olivia Rose Davis. Stephanie Del Castillo. Annabelle Frances Doherty. Jamie Elizabeth Dosenberg. Rosita Consuelo Doyle. Lisa A. Egan. Madeline E. Ellis. Anna Urbetta. Alex M. File. Maria Feloni. Abigail Ferroni. Danielle Fiore. Henry Bowie Fisher. Aviva Grace Foster. Eleanor Catherine Furman. Kaz Gebhardt. Noelle Elizabeth Gondek.
Emma Rose Gould.
Briley Gilmet. Finn Oliver Gruber. Alicia Guzman. Carolyn Jeanette Haggard. Kay James Hamady. Harper Allen Hennings. Carmen Orneos Castelli. Massimina Grace Kritskovian. Finn Oliver Gruber. Josephine Hughes. Catherine Jansen. Keisha Chanel Lucas. Nina Mamedova. Casey A. McCauley. Tyler Scout McSheffrey. Lillian Sophia Kaula. Samantha Ann Mills. Emily Ruth Milne. Nadia Ann Najjar. Mackenzie Christine Nee. Mads Niez. Angelina Marie O'Connor. Christina Orfanos. Juliette Pierre. Susan M. Randall. Olivia Marilyn Raymond.
Cameron Forbes Richards.
Lamaya Briones Richardson. Eileen Mary Riley. Isabella Irene Rivera Gonzalez. Yasmin G. Romero Rivera. Amanda B. Rudd. Tanya Samyak. Emma Lee Surth. Ella M. Skinner. Layla Catherine Spires. Ella M. Stalter. Madeline Irene Swanson. Caroline S. Sweat. Amber Helena Saldivar Mieres. Sonia Angelina Talabesi. Evie Lucian Trainer. Melissa Villar Polanco. Azul Zurisadai Villarreal. Grace Lydia Walters. Aaliyah Marie Watson. Madison Witakonis. Catherine E. Wood. Bachelor of Science, Madina Bonu Abdullahieva. Paige Amber Abercrombie. Maliha Maksud Afrikawala. Fatuma Ahmed. Jawaria Ali. Victoria Georgia Anderson. Mame Essie Ando. Malet Aragawi. Selinati Arias. Noah Asher. Mintu Barry. Tareem Batul. Aditi Vadiraja Bele. Leah Berdeen. Berneed Amaya Bernardo. Faiza Bashir. Jasmine Bratto. Shannon G. Bittner. Alessia Charnay Bond. Catherine Irene Brockmiller. Emily Brown. Sarah Broom. Min On Bui. Teresa Tai Bui. Cassidy Isabella Candela. Daniela Emily Carrasquillo. Diana Cartagena Santos. Estefania Castano Patino. Amina Nadia Cathay. Dea Chella. Skylar Bell Cohen. Sawyer Collins. Kimberly Koff. Juliana J. Craig. Aislinn Grace Doherty. Ginger Star Doherty. Michelle J. Doroteo Alvarez. Emily Elizabeth Douglas. Alyssa Ailey Dew. Amelia C. Elko.
Sophia Rose Urbetta.
Eden Isabella Eugenio. Christine Michelle Felt. Paige Joy Foster. Logan Gaston. Sarah Gias. Zoe B. Greenberg. Hannah Elizabeth Groves. Racheli Guerrero. Annabelle Claire Hannah. Camelia Marie Hannah. Elise Carolyn Harrell. Theodore E. Hatfield. Aaliyah E. Hayes. Lisette Hidalgo Rogel. Erin Higgins. Jenna Marie Higgins. Nada Hiju. Charlotte Maureen Hogan. Rachel Virginia Hogan. Hafsa Hussein. Sophie Marguerite Innocon. Amarachukwu Tolowanimi Ike Ozonwa. Tamar Zeta Thompson. Chanae Adriana Walker. Gaëlle Nora Lubin. Asia Taina Jimenez. Amila Yusufbegovic. Lamis G. Khalife. Naya Matea Lalimarmo. Marie Victoria Lampson. Elizabeth Dernan Lawton. Jana So Yun Lee. Emma Daria L'Esperance. Rachel Taryn Lim. Jaylene Victoria Liriano. Jolie Liu. Emily Paula Lopez. Janice N. Lorenzo Perez. Olive Devon Lukanish. Alisa Luchitskaya. Grace Smith Lunny. Mitch Kurt Magny. Lily Malatinsky. Eman Mandley. Taylor Jane Massimi. Ashley Nicole McGrath. Megan McNamara. Stephanie Mendoza Bernal. Anna Sterling Mercier. Alison Mihalik. Afsana. Joe Ann Melissa Monsanto Estevez. Celia Marie Morse. Raneem Musa. Jang Ngok Kwon Ngo. Julianne Nee. Michaela London O'Donnell. Jonissa Ortiz Tirado. Julian Leon Parma. Mahi Malkesh Patel. Princey Pratik Patel. Julia Marie Perconti. Rachel Peffley. Markta Christerly Pierre. Alexia Ileana Pimentel. Larit Alexander Patia. Olivia Pitoki. Jessica Guadalupe Portillo. Racenza Fresi Prosper. Adriana Raisa Ramos. Arlie Destiny Reyes. Tatiana Evalis Roman. Abigail Rothstein. Sophie C. Salas. Sarah Shabazz Samad. Giselle A. Sandoval Gonzalez. Kayla Kathleen Schnitzer. Sophia Lila Shapiro. Hamna Shazli. Samantha the Smith. Annika Elsie Sautery. Lillian Hunter Stoppelfeld. Haley Catherine Stuck. Barrett Kai Fei Sue. Sadie Trisha Sumner. Anna Masters Tedeschi. Jayla Marie Tulin. Mariona S. Vicente. Carla Pamela Villanueva. Holly Marie Willis. Joy Elizabeth Wilson. Stella Elizabeth Wimberly. Piper Roan Wojtaszek. Caitlin Wyatt. Giselle Di Ying Yang. Jody Ye. Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Albina Abatkize. Alexa Anna Abild. Kamaya Elaine Akbar. Felipa Arevalo. Nell Elizabeth Asbrand. Amelia S. Burke. Janet Shin Kichen. Hamdi Dakani. Yamilet Espada. Sarah M. Fogarty. Kaya Jade Goncalves. Rose Katz Berger. Ray Kayamari. Dana Nicole Lavecchia. Yufei Lee. Samia Janae Moon. Fajah Muhammad. Dana Niazova. Chloe Melissa Riley. Mariana Isabel Rodriguez Rivera. Zuani Fernanda Portillo. Nivea Sanai Williams. Palin Wu. Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Tamar Adams Pinnock. Emerson Quinn Alley. Solveig Ask.
Hai Wun Bei.
Mercedes Bailey. Amelia Isabel Brackett. Ryder Buffo. Angela Mary Burnham. Michaela Cabrera. Jessica Cow. Kayla Carbajal. Sophie Castleman. Anna Sonita Chan. Alicia Rosanna Charles. J.C. Chen. Blair Chu. Madison Lee Clark. Faith Michelle Cobbs. Eileen Janet Coleman. Carissa Marie Cavello. Charlie McKenna Rose Crawford. Erin Lily Dean. Caroline Madison DeSimio Malone. Isabella Hope Diaz. Rose Miguel's Dorsonville. Megan Christine Doxey. Caitlin Lois Drake. Layla A. Drinkwater. Victoria Rose Drohan. Monique Dubé. Cindy Duong. Jennifer Island McGlory. Stephanie Emery. Amanda Raquel Escoledo. Gabrielle May Flaherty. Caitlin McKenna Fox. Mackenzie Susan Garcia. Sound Kendra Phoebe Gaspard. Ruth Geller. Sophia Friedman Girioni. Hannah Rebecca Goldberg. Micah Hale Larios Gordon. Carolina Maria Suarez Guzman. Avery Halloran. Madison Jone Harvey Dirksen. Michelle Marie Hinkle. Kayla R. Hogan. Madison Rose Horrobin. Joyce Wen Jing Huang. Nilda Hughes. Elspeth Grant Huxley. Lisa Jare. Rich Nida Jean Lace. Ashiana Khalifa. Olivia L. Kirakopoulos. Retha Lane. Miriam Gracie Adayinka Lawal. Lillian Mary Lawrence. Madison Riley Levitt. Hayden Isabella Lee. Chloe Leung. Vicky Lee. Selena Lynn. Lindsay Rose Mann. Alishba Maqsood. Clarine Mary Martin. Giselle Isabel Martinez. Kiara Cherie Martinez. Sophie Elizabeth McDonald. Ayan Ahmed Muhammad. Sarah Nightalb. Sarah E. Nestor. Helen Nguyen. Kim Gok De Nguyen. Jaden Isabella Noble. Fatima Nur. Emma Caroline Pazar. Rachel Perry. Joan Loinord Renee. Abigail Margaret Rhodes. Savannah Elizabeth Richard. Yocasta Rodriguez. Kennedy Grace Ross. Meenal Salim. Liliana Grace Schilling. Hannah J. Storms. Diana Tadich. Emily Tilson. Chelsea Helen Trask. Tiffany Lee Trieger. Anna Elizabeth Troxel. Frida Sophia Teresa. Courage Onohi Uzama Isehendrien. Elvira Watson. Anya Camille Wolzeski. Aisha May Wilson. Holly Ann Wright. Rihanna Gabrielle Young. Sadiqa Khadija Yusuf. Olga Zhizhin. Bachelor of Social Work. Madeline Alphonse. Leah Grace Callahan. Everline Indeche Bloomberg. Olivia Addison Cornier. Ella de Silva Biol. Isabella Di Filippo Antonio.
Rosabelle Leah Fergus.
Haley E. Foreman. Emma M. Geary. Sydney Argonier. Claire Dubois Harris. Madison Elizabeth Idzi. Megan Elizabeth Leone. Jacqueline Cecilia Manolian. Marina McCollum. Emily Viator Merriam. Sarah Catherine Nestrock. Lisbeth Nicole Paukar. Debanyaline Perez. Maggie Grace Spadaro. Santana Ocean Sterling. Aisha Candace Straker. Eliza Grace Taylor. Mindy Tran. Campbell Kaysen White. Nairi Sky Irene White. Haley Oceana Wilson. Savannah Yaus.
Congratulations again to our doctoral, master's candidates, and the members of the undergraduate class of 2025. We are so proud of your accomplishments. Now we will be joined on stage by Priya Gall, class of 14, Vice President of the Alumni Association, Nisi Lope, class of 10, Vice President of the African American Alumni Association, and Patrice Lamore, 05 MSW, 05 certificate, 15 certificate, and 22 PhD, member of the Social Work Alumni Association, representing, who are happy to welcome our newest Alumni Association members. This brings us to the conclusion of Simmons University's 120th morning commencement ceremony. Congratulations to our new alum and to your family and friends. On behalf of the trustees, faculty, and staff of the university, best wishes. Thank you for all of your guests for being part of this wonderful celebration. We ask that our friends, family, and guests meet their students outside of the MGM Music Hall as we prepare for our afternoon ceremony. The MGM House staff will assist you as you exit the building. We invite you back to the Simmons campus so graduates can pick up their diploma in Common Grounds, stop by the bookstore, and of course, take pictures. Please remain seated until the academic procession has concluded.